Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Hukamnama Sahib today is on Ang 713 of Shri Guru Granth Sahib Ji by Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj in Todee Rag. Satnam Vaheguru Ji Todee Mahalla Panjwa Ghar Dooja Dupde Ik Oankar Satgur Prasad Mangao Dan Thakur Naam अवर कछु मेरे संग न चालै मिलै कृपा गुण गाम मांगो दान ठाकुर नाम अवर कछु मेरे संग न चालै मिलै कृपा गुण गाम रहाओ. Satguru Shri Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj is blessing us today. Garib Nawaz Sache Padshah Ji begins the Shabad Todee Mahalla Panjwa Todee Rag Tan Guru Arjan Dev Ji Ghar Dooja in the second house of tune and rhythm Surantal Dopade. This Shabad has two pade, two parts. Maharaji begins with the Mangala Charan, the prayer before Akal Purkh Vaheguru, before divine consciousness. Ik Oankar, there is no other, there is only one light pervading through all, Oankar, whose light is within all, and who is found through the Prasad, the grace of the eternal Guru, the Satguru, Satgur Prasad. Maharaji in today's Shabbat is talking about asking for the ultimate. Many Shabads in Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj talk about asking for protection, and sometimes when we listen to Katha we feel guilty if we ask for worldly things from Satguruji. But there are certain stages which come in spirituality. And there is a time when we ask for worldly things, but even when we're asking for worldly things, we should be asking for what we need, those things which are essential in order to do bhakti. Sometimes we quote Bhagat Naji Shabad, Gopal Tera Arta, Jo Jan Tumri Bhagat Karante Tinke Kaj Swarta, Dal Sida, Mango Kiyo, Hamra Khushi Karenit Jio, Paniya Shadan Nika, Anaj Mago Sat Sika, Go Pass Mangola Veri, Ik Tajan Turi Chingeri Kar Ki Gi Hne Changi Jantan Na Leva Mangi. Sometimes you say, oh, look at all these worldly things that Bhagat Naji is asking for. He's asking for dal, for lentils, he's asking for a horse, he's asking for a cow, for milk. Or we look at Kabir Ji Shabad, Pukhe Bhagat Na Kijai, Yeh Mala Apni Lijai, Hum Mango Santan Nirna Nahi Kisi Ka Dena. माधो कैसी बने तुम संगे आप ना देहो तो लेहो मंगे दो सिर मांगो चूना पाओ की ओ संग लूना. Kabir Sahib Ji is asking for dal, asking for loon, asking for lentils and salt and all these things. Now why are the Bhagat Sahibans asking for these worldly things? They're asking for these worldly things because they need them to survive in this world. And these things are to be accepted as gifts of Akal Purkh Vaheguru. And these things are to be used in order to meditate upon Vaheguru. That dal that Bhagat Naji is asking for is in order to keep this body going. So for our worldly needs, we go to Satguruji and we ask them for guidance, and there's nothing wrong with that. But in this Shabad, Guruji is taking us a step forward. That is only one stage, that is a very initial stage. Most of us have heard the story of Bhagat Farid Ji and how his mother used to entice him to do the prayer, the namaz, by putting shakkar, by putting sugar underneath the prayer mat. But one day Farid Ji got to such a level that he said, the sweetest thing to me is God's name. Sabbe vastu mithiyan Rabbana pujantod. Everything which is sweet cannot equal your sweetness, O Vaheguru. That's what Shaykh Farid Ji said one day. So hopefully this is a process that we go through. One day we get to this stage what Satguru Ji is asking for. Now what is Maharaj Ji taking us beyond asking for worldly things? Guruji says, Mango Dan Thakur Naam. I mango, I beg for a dan, a gift. What gift? Thakur Naam. O Thakur, O my Lord, for your Naam, the experience of your name. Now it's very, very important to understand that God's Naam, the divine Naam, is a dan, is a gift from Akal Purkh. And a gift is received only when the one who has it in their hands wants to give. So Guruji is reminding us here, God's name is a gift, and that we should get to this stage where we beg for the Naam, where we beg for that experience of God's name. Avar kachu mere sang na chale. But how do you get to this stage? When you understand avar, and avar means else. Kashu, things. All these other things, mere sang na chale, they do not chale, they do not go with me. Sangha means with me. So when you realize everything else will not go with you. Yes, there is a stage when you're asking for worldly things, etc., etc. But the spiritual progression comes when you realize that none of these worldly things will go with you. So at that point, what do? At that point, that is when the prayer arises within you. Mango Dan Thakur Naam. That's when you start begging for God's name. Mile Kripa Gun Gam. Mile, may I receive through your Kripa, through your grace, Gun Gam, the gift of Gam, of singing your praises. Now Gam has been translated by Sant Gurbachan Singh Ji to mean home as well. As in Hindi we say the word gaon. Now what does that mean, the home of praise? And Sant Gyani Gurbachan Singh Ji is interpreted to mean the Sangat. May I be blessed with your grace of entering into the house of praise, the Sangat. May my body become a house of praise that houses, encapsulates your praises. Rahao, Guruji says, pause and think about this. Raj Mal Anek Bhog Ras. Raj meaning political power, Mal meaning wealth and possessions, Anek Bhog Ras, many different types of ras, of enjoyments and bhog, pleasures. Sagal Tarvar ki Cham, now they look to me like, Sagal, all of them are, Tarvar ki Cham. Cham means the shadow, Tarvar means tree. All of these things which I used to ask for, and these things which I used to think were so great, now I realize they are just like the shadow of a tree. Now what does that mean? The shadow of a tree is always moving. In the morning it is in one place, in the evening it is in another. That means that it is transitory, it will not remain. Guruji says, I have realized that none of these things that I thought were so great remain. All of them fall away, all of them disintegrate, whether that is power, whether it is possessions, whether it is worldly pleasures. Tae, tae, bahobid kao tave. Tae, tae, I used to run and run. Bahobid, in many different ways. Kao tave, many different ways I used to run after these things. And if you run after the shadow of a tree, it will keep moving. Sagal nirarat kam. And I engaged in sagal, in all things which are nirarat, which were pointless. All of these kam, all of these pursuits, all of these affairs, nirarat, they meant nothing. If sitting within your house, you use the house as a gift and as a reminder of God's praises, that house is blessed. Jeh prasad basan sukh mandar tisahte aaye sada man andar. Sukhmani Sahib says, if you are living in a beautiful house, remember the one who gave you that. Now these gifts can be given a meaning through meditation, or if you're just running after them, and forgetting the one who's given them to you, then they become nirarth, they become meaningless. Bin Govind avarje chaho. Bin Govind, without you, Vaheguru, avarje chaho. O Govind, O my Govind, O seed of the world, O Vaheguru. Avarje chaho, if I chaho, if I desire for avar, for anything else, disa sagal baat hai calm. Now I can see disa that sagal baat, everything else is calm. Calm comes from the Arabic language. It means transitory, that which will not remain. Vaheguruji, without your desire, all these other desires, they will all fall away, they will all disintegrate, they will all go. Now I realize this. Hence, Vaheguruji is put at the beginning of the Shabad, Mango Dan Thakur now, that I'm begging now for your name. Kaho Nanak Sant Rain Mango. Dhan Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj says, I mango, I beg for something. What do you beg for? The rain, the dust of the feet of the saints, the sants. And Maharaj, what happens to those people who are blessed with the dust of the feet of the saints? Mero man pave bisram, my man, my mind, pave finds bisram, peace, rest. Now, the way this Shabbat works out, at the beginning there is this begging from God, give me your name, give me the experience of Naam. Then it is explained how this comes about. When you start looking at everything, it's transitory. When you realize nothing will remain, then what happens? Then you get blessed with the dust of the feet of the saints, and this prayer arises within you, Mango Dan Thakur Naam. Then you start begging for that which will remain, that which is eternal. When you realize that the world is transitory and you are blessed with the company of the saints. Bin Govind avarje chaho, disa sagal baat hai kham, kaho Nanak sant rain mango, mero man pave bisram. Vaheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji ki Fateh.